Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Pub Table Racers. Thanks for joining us. My name is Tim Packman. So next to me is my host and best friend in the whole wide world,
Warren Brosell.
There we go. And we welcome you to the show. And Warren, before we get started, I think it's very important that we tell these people why we have a bucket of beer in front of us.
This is Pub Table Racers. We sit at pub tables, we drink beer, we talk about racing,
Exactly.
and or someone that is connected to racing.
Exactly. And we drink Miller High Life because
we're both very big fans, and Bobby Allison is our hero.
he's my friend, too.
And he's also mine
Here's
and
your friend.
your
Okay, I'll
friend.
drink that, friend. Okay, we're, drink to that.
Drink to that. Down the hatch.
First one of the day. Zip it. Okay, tonight's show. We're going to talk about Nashville. We'll talk about all three series. We're going to talk about the track because I was there in person and experienced some of the stuff that went on there. Then we're going to talk about two teams announcing Cup racing next year. And we'll talk about someone who got DQ'd after Sunday. And then we'll bring up our guest, Wally McCarty is going to join us. But our guest next week is Carrie Earnhardt. I think you guys know that name. As always, this show is brought to you Lake Norman Patio and Game Rooms. Go see Brad and JoJo there. The assortment of items he has out now is unbelievable. Added ping pong tables. He's also added a wine bar, like wine barrel bar. Incredible, plus the Shays Lounge and the Adirondacks and everything.
Beautiful outdoor and or man cave patio furniture or bar furniture, games, air hockey, tabletop hockey, or is that bubble hockey?
That's it, bubble hockey. That's good.
Foosball,
Foosball, as you call it.
Shuffleboard.
It's got the whole inventory.
Air guitars.
Air guitar. Actual guitars, electric guitars, acoustic guitars.
He'll sell you an air guitar, I guarantee it.
Brad will sell
you an air guitar. In a heartbeat.
Damn good.
Probably the one that Eddie Van Halen played.
Exactly.
Here, be careful with this.
Thank you so much. Wow, Eddie Van Halen played this?
And Jimi Hendrix.
I just want a bass. Okay, from Gene Simmons.
Are you ready for an upgrade? Need to refresh that patio? Want to add more fun to your home? Lake Norman Patio and Game Rooms makes it fun to stay at home. We offer a huge selection of high-quality outdoor furniture, pool tables, shuffleboard, ping pong, and much, much more. Your oasis awaits. So don't miss the boat. Take your patio or game room up to the next level. Lake Norman Patio and Game Rooms. Stop in today or visit us online at lknpatio.com.
All right, other sponsors. Behind you, Warren, who do we have?
We have RacingJunk.com.
That's right, it's his man and white moment there. Buy, sell, trade. Anything and everything you need that has wheels, go check him out. Also, Rapid Removal. Go see Darren Russell. Find him on Facebook. Great guy. Works in the industry. And he has 20-yard containers that he wheels in, drops off, no marks or anything, and when you're done, picks up and hauls it off.
Put anything you want in those things except for asbestos.
Right,
and
asbestos.
His shit and your shit is his bread and butter.
Exactly, and or relatives you don't like, in-laws you don't like, whatever. You can't do that. He does have restrictions.
Roll out dead body up in a carpet and throw it.
Okay, and also real quick, the Garage Shop is a partner of ours now in a bigger way. And we hope you guys went to the Garage Shop Insider YouTube channel and checked out the first edition, or the first episode of Highway 3 Reunion Beyond the Gates. Warren and myself, it was last Wednesday. We sat down with
Jeff Clark,
Tim
Clements,
Brian Cram,
and Aaron Brown.
And no script, just questions flowed, and you could see the camaraderie, and you could see that the bond is still there after all these years, that all of us worked together at Highway 3. Part 1 aired last night. Part 2 will air next week, and that's where we really get into the meat and taters. And
racers never stop being racers.
Right.
And, is the bottom line.
Exactly. And we talked about that. I was really happy with how it came out, and this could lead to more, so we'll see. Okay, we got that. We got our sponsors, got those taken care of. All right, let's talk about...
the racing here?
What's that?
The racing.
Let's talk about Nashville?
Yeah.
All right, Truck Series. Race Friday night, I was there. Ryan Preece, his very first truck race, goes out and wins it.
Yeah. I'm happy for him. He got to showcase his talent again.
It shows that, modified.
Right, I can still do this.
Yep, right. So I saw him before the race, and I pointed the truck. I go, this isn't an open wheel car, because, he's modified. He's done well at that. So congrats to him. Xfinity, Kyle Busch wins. Your guy was doing okay there until he got a little bump in the wrong area.
One of the hardest hits he's ever taken.
Right into that wall.
Yeah.
Does Kyle Busch stop racing now that it's 100? I mean, is it enough Xfinity?
It's up to him.
Okay.
You know, I can't. A lot of people bash that. I'm not gonna.
Right.
Because Mark Martin and Jeff Burton and Kevin Harvick and there's more than one guy that would go backwards and go and win them races and wax everybody's butt. And to me, it's if you want to be better, if you want to be a better race car driver, don't complain about him being better than you. Be better than him and go beat him.
Exactly.
And that part of that series has been going on for years.
Right.
Do I enjoy it? Do I like watching it? And no, and the reason is, here's the reason why it's not good or fun to watch.
For the Xfinity.
Because there's not 5 other Cup drivers that would be racing against him
Right.
if they were there also. When Mark Martin was at one of them races, he would always have someone else there. He would have a Jeff Burton there, or he would have another
Jimmy Spencer.
He would have another Cup guy there that he would be racing against, and it was it wasn't always a Busch guy or Xfinity guy, whatever you want to call him, that he had to race. They had usually ended up racing. The Cup guys usually ended up racing each other.
But the other thing is,
that's why I think everybody gets burnt about it now. It's because
but to your point, Mark Martin, he now has twice as many wins as Mark Martin had in Xfinity Series. But just say enough. All right.
Well,
that's what people are saying. I'm not. Whatever. It is
Mark
what it is.
Martin started a lot later in
Sure.
life than he did
It's
at
true
that
story.
also.
All right, so he's at 100 wins. I don't know if you can call it a point, whatever. Cup race on Sunday. Hey, I think they're just going to make the trophy now, and they're going to put Kyle Larson at the bottom, and this,
Which one?
Which one?
The next one?
Next one, the race. What's that? 3 in a row, 4th of the year, whatever. 3 in a row. He's won how many stages now? 4. How many stages? He's won all these stages in a row. It's like, and I was there. I mean, he's on rails. I mean,
So-
he restarted 5th one time. 2 laps later, he's in the lead, and it's not like he's not just like sort of passing people. He's like motoring by him.
Before you came here, because I knew this was going to kind of go down this road,
Sure.
I did a little bit of research
Yeah, go ahead, share it with everybody.
about the last 3 years.
And one, this is quite impressive what Warren did here.
It's really easy. You just Google it.
No, it's impressive that you did it.
Well, no, because I knew this was going to go down this road, In 2018, Kevin Harvick won 8 races total.
Yep.
And Kyle Busch also won 8 races.
Total.
And in 2018, your champion was Joey Logano,
Right.
who only won 4 races
Right.
total. In 2019, Martin Truex won 7 races, and Kyle Busch won 5, and he was your champion.
Got it.
Okay. In 2020, this one's the really
Oh,
this
yeah.
is the really good stat. So this is last year, obviously, right? Last year, Kevin Harvick won 9 races and didn't make it to the final 4.
No.
So before we give the guy a cape and a trophy and a crown, let's because me being the racer that I am,
Sure.
now is not really the time to be very fast.
You have to keep this up for the rest of the year.
Yes, and you have to hope
Ebb and
that
flow, right.
that if you're doing something that's on the edge, it doesn't get taken away.
Right. Someone will go, hey, what's this?
Right.
Not that Hendrick's ever done anything like that. Speaking
Not that any of us has ever done anything like that,
right.
right? But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, if you're fast at the beginning of the year, it usually hurts you now.
Mhm.
If you're fast now, it usually hurts you at the end of the
Some
year.
of your neighbors are going to figure out what you're doing. I mean, even though, they're going to look at
I-
the garage.
no, not my neighbor.
Well, he's a Stuart Haas guy. Hey,
Right.
speaking of Stuart Haas, they
were very respectable.
They're starting to, and Briscoe had a good run.
So
down there,
now,
too. Maybe.
all of a sudden they get onto something
Sure.
and they take it to the next level.
Sure.
Now they win the next
Yeah.
5 races.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
I'm having to notice that they're going up there. Let's see. Hey, guys. Good to finally get to see you. Hey, Darnell, hello. Haircuts brought to you by Darnell. Don Carp, hello. Buffalo, yep, says hi. Good. Mom says evening. And we're good. So there we go. Just want to say hey to people. Make sure we know you're out there. Okay, so Larson wins. Chase Elliott. Whew. It's like he wasn't even there. Like, he had run, and then 5 loose lug nuts. I think it was 5, right?
5.
And they just said, you're disqualified.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable.
Well, so here's the reason why that has to happen. If that wheel comes off, flies into the stands, kills someone, or hurts someone, or you just can't have that.
Right.
So there's got to be some type of penalty for it.
And I hate that the driver pays for what the crewman did, but they're all in it together and they're responsible.
Didn't they just win $1 million?
They just want to.
Was that the 9 or was that the? Who just won the pit crew thing at the?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
was it the 9?
100,000.
100,000.
100,000. Yeah. So they know how to do a good pit stop.
Was that the 9 or the 5? Was it
the 9?
the 9?
Right. Yeah. Okay, I get it. So whatever. I know. That's it.
Apparently, they're not going to get most of that money.
Okay, guys. This would have been a race win. Guess what? We go from there.
Right.
Here's your ham sandwich and a Mountain Dew. Have a good day. Thanks for playing. God.
Lug nuts are yellow. Try to get them tighter.
Do you think they have to write 100,000 times? I will not leave my nuts loose. Anyhow, all right. So that happened. Unfortunate. Okay, I'm going to talk about the track real quick. The place looked beautiful.
Yeah.
The place looked great. Friday I was there. Traffic wasn't too bad. It was a little bad, not too bad though. But I noticed for a minimal crowd, for that gets the least fans,
right,
there was still traffic to get in. They charged $20 to get in to park, and they took that money as you came in.
Okay.
And I'm just putting on my former track promoter brain.
Park, really?
Former track promoter brain, and I'm going $20, and they say have your 20s ready, and it was cash only. As you pulled up, they took your money. Now here's what happens: you take your money, and then you go, hey, where's such and such? I need to park. And then the question starts.
Yeah.
And the question. So here's the traffic studies that I've been involved in. 20 seconds here equals 2 minutes back there, equals 20 minutes back, equals 2 hours back there. So that little quick conversation each and every time, that's what happens. I also saw people directing traffic that weren't really quite directing. They were kind of just in groups, and I can't stand that because
they weren't ready for it.
They weren't ready for
it. It's like this. It's when you get back to these venues that haven't had a race in 30 years or whatever the heck it is, and then all of a sudden they want to do this, and it's not like Charlotte where that's a work of art over there.
They got it down pat.
Yeah, they got it down pat, and whenever you do one of these venues, someone should say, "Hey, we need someone to organize this. How do we need to do this? Not just throw us in there." Because we all remember Kentucky.
Oh, yeah. Kentucky. Well, they delayed the race because we were sitting there, and for an hour and a half after the race started, people were still coming in.
Yeah.
We could just see the one lot. But, we're looking at we couldn't see behind us, behind the grandstands. But the grandstands hold 25,000. They brought in 15,000 in temporary seating. So you practically almost, let's say, 3/4 or more, 70% more fans were there. The infrastructure of the concession stands was built for 25,000 people. They had, and it was cashless, so everything was a card.
Except for parking.
Everything was a card. Now, Joe and I took cash, and we went, and we're like, oh, we're going to buy this, that. But the lines were so long, and it was the card, and it's a process. And I watched this poor girl up on the, not the mezzanine, but the premium plus level where I got tickets for. And she was one girl working hot dogs, Coke, water, and that's all she could sell. And she was getting slayed, and I timed it. She was 2 minutes and 25 seconds per single customer. There was a family of 4 that took 6 minutes and 38 seconds.
She had to get him everything.
She had to get a hot dog out. She had to put it in, did it, and then they had to do the card. And God bless. But there was no help for her. And I'm watching her run out of drink. She had to go back up.
And right now, all of America's in this situation.
Sure, they can't find the help.
Yeah.
I get
it.
I get it.
Was it the Speedway's fault that they didn't hire enough people, or they just couldn't get them?
Right.
So let's not.
I saw people who were in supervisor roles walking by these people
that could have been helping.
Could use that help.
Yeah.
And as a former track president, I swear, if you saw something, you jumped in, you did what you had to help, you helped each other. But there was instances where just walking by, and there was a sheriff up on the one level radioing to whoever, saying, hey, look, at these lines up here are really long. People are getting antsy. The mezzanine.
He was worried about it getting.
Yeah, like this could get bad. And people were like lined up there was like a liquor bar there. It was nicely decorated and everything. But people were in line. And there was people, like I missed half the second stage waiting in line. But that's all. I'm just saying. And then we looked downstairs and the lines were like big there. I'm not saying it's bad, but Nashville Super Speedway has the resources to lean on other people to say, hey, what can we do in traffic studies?
Right.
But I'm not saying they didn't, but hey, live and learn. God, I hope it works. The vibe downtown was great. NASCAR.
I was going to say, how was downtown?
Downtown was freaking awesome, man. It always is. So Geraldine was her first time there, so she was like, I looked at her at one point, I go, what's the matter? She goes, there's so much going on. I said, well, you're not in Troutman anymore. Nothing is Troutman, but, it's a big step from, and you go to Nashville. But no, it was a great time, good experience.
Yeah, it's like Vegas.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's kind of, you go there, same thing. Yep. Racing Jason Hodling, former guest on here, he says, you have to win as a team, lose as a team, fair enough. What do we say about the Chase Elliott, Christine Sadowski? We already touched upon that. Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. So that's my take on the track. I'm not bashing, but observations that I made could have been avoided in my mind.
They need to tweak it.
Yeah, that's okay. And they can do that. Let's see, what do we have here? Two teams, GMS, Truck Series team,
Yep.
and Colleague Racing, Xfinity Racing team, Series team, announced they're going to go Cup Racing next year. Now, Colleague says they're going to buy 2 charters. I'm like, from who? From where? Who's going to give them up? And GMS says they want to go Cup, could go Cup. They might have to, race their way in. But I'm still having a struggle with the charter system because I'm still the thing like, just show up and run. If you're that good, you don't need a charter.
Right. Well, here's what I say happens. I say that if NASCAR gets enough of these people, they'll just open it up to a 42-car field again.
Go back to 43.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Go back to 42.
If you got enough
43.
cars.
Sure, why not? Whatever. They're paying the entry fee.
And say our minimum is 35, our maximum is 42.
Perfect.
Right?
I mean, if they can only get 38 in Charlotte, then... you
know where I'm going with this.
I know.
That new car is going to be...
Change everything.
It's going to change everything. Because Colleague now relies on everything from RCR.
Yep. So they already have the resource right there to go, hey...
No.
What?
They don't need RCR with this new car.
Because...
What does RCR know about the new car?
No, well, they know because B. Hoover's been in it.
Yeah, but not,
they don't know what's going to do on the track.
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
There is no one smarter than the next guy.
We should start a team
with this new car. I don't have that kind of cash.
We could. Pub Table, we'll do a GoFundMe. Everybody, we have all our viewers. Let's see, that's 300 people.
Who's gonna drive it?
Times 5. What? Let's get Bickle.
All right, now you're talking.
We'll get Rich Bickle.
At any rate, what I'm getting at is everybody's going to be on a very level playing field with this new piece. No one has an advantage.
Right.
The price is the same for everybody across the board. It's not how much you can put into this thing is going to make you faster.
That part between the wheel.
As of right now.
Right, the part between the wheel.
That's going to be your defining.
Right.
And the part between the wheel.
And the seat?
Yes. Okay, so Joey Logano will have no more experience with one of them cars than
Garrett Smithley.
Right.
I'm not picking. I'm just
that's perfect. Yeah. But now is Joey is his raw talent better? Probably, absolutely.
All right. Before we bring up our guests, we want to remind you people that we have a website, pubtableracers.com. We have awesome merchandise. You can buy a beautiful hat, an awesome tumbler. We have children's books on there. We
Stickers,
have T-shirts. We have black T-shirts. We have enough black T-shirts that your football team could get them. So get your whole football team.
If you're all
medium. If they're no, they're all black. We got the extra large. We got double XL. Just order one, damn it. We need them.
We'll get it to you.
Yeah, we'll get it to you. Easy, we'll get it there. We're also, if you don't want to see our ugly faces, and we don't blame you one bit, we are on Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts. You can just hear us. And also, please, if you could, go to the YouTube, go to Pub Table Racers. Hit the subscribe button. It's totally free. Just give it a click. That's all we need. You don't have to watch. Just give it a click. We need the subscribers. Hey, everybody. We really appreciate you watching us every Tuesday night on Pub Table Racers. And Warren and myself say thank you. But we need a favor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. As Elvis would say. Cheers.
Cheers.
We need you to do us a favor. On our YouTube channel, just give us a subscribe. It's free. We appreciate it. And that's all we really need.
Right.
Also, check out our website. What do we have there, Warren?
We have clothes, we have hats,
right.
We have
tumblers, yeah.
And anything else you need that it has to say Pub Table Racers, we'll make it.
And we have children's books, award-winning children's books too, so check them out. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. YouTube, subscribe, totally free. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers.
There we go. Appreciate you. So that's it. We good?
We're good.
We're good. It's time. Woohoo! We've been waiting for this guy for a while. His name is Wally McCarty. Warren calls him
Wally McCarty and Coke.
This guy has been in the sport for decades. He's a great guy. He has so much experience and so many great people he's worked with. Rusty Wallace, Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, Bobby Allison, Miller Racing. He's going to tell us more about it. Please welcome to the show, finally, Wally McCarty.
Sorry we made you wait so long.
Sorry, we just had some stuff.
So I met Wally in 97 or 8
Yep.
when I was at Penske.
Penske, okay, yep.
And I could never
Remember his name?
couldn't remember. Are they calling him
Scooch in here, Wally.
McCarty?
Scooch those along.
What's his last
First of all,
name?
how tall are you?
6'4".
6'4". Okay, first of all, grab yourself a Miller High. We know, having been a Team Penske Miller Racing,
Right. He
you've
gave
had
us
to
a bunch of Miller stuff.
Miller stuff, yes.
Yeah.
All right,
That we
first of all,
like to-
cheers. Welcome to
Cheers.
Fun
Cheers. Thanks for coming, Wally.
Thank you for having me.
Perfect.
Seriously.
No, it's
It's gonna be
awesome.
fun.
This is great.
I don't need the notebook anymore. We read that. So, first of all, how did you get involved in the racing industry? Where are you from originally?
Yeah.
Originally from Elgin, Illinois, which is a town about 40 miles west of Chicago.
Right.
I always give credit to my nephews, Randy and Terry Ross. They got me interested in stock car racing at Rockford Speedway, Bob Joe Speedway. And then from that point, Terry and I really became very fascinated with funny cars.
Okay.
We so happened to have a funny car team at Bud Richter Automotive in Elgin, Illinois. I hung around there just every day I could, rode my bicycle over there. And one day, one of the mechanics, Mike Farrell, invited me in to polish the wheels.
How old are you at this point? You're a kid, you're saying.
I'm 15 years old.
Okay, perfect.
And I'm just loving life.
And
Yeah.
so you got invited to polish the wheels, and to you that was huge.
It was huge.
Just to touch it, right?
Right, just,
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
be part of it.
Just to walk in there, to be able to, they handed me a can of Brasso and a shop rag and said, get after it. And I did the best job I could. And I was very blessed because Mike and the team took me, under their wing, started teaching me things about the car, working on the car. Next thing you know, I mean, it's fast forward a couple of years, I'm actually maintaining the car for them. I'm doing everything but setting the valves.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, and so it's pretty cool.
Dang.
And got to go on a 747 for my first ride with them to go out to the Orange County manufacturers meet for 64 cars. That was
that your first flight ever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Got mom's permission and everything. Yeah.
How old were you for that?
17. It was big.
Who was the first time you ever flew with?
Bobby Allison.
Oh wow. Better. You had a better trip then.
Well,
Better food.
Yeah. All right. So
you know, should we buzz this track at Slinger?
what do you mean?
What do I know about it?
Everyone's like, what the hell? Is
And then
everyone
after that point, it was like, what, turbulence?
yeah, did the barrel
Oh,
roll?
it's turbulence.
All right. So you're doing that with the funny car team, and
Yeah.
somehow, somewhere, you make some connections.
So from that team, I had the opportunity. Ed McCullough called me, Ed the Ace McCullough, and on a recommendation, he hired me. I flew to Texas, rode with the team to Gainesville, Florida, and come to find out it was one of those highest of highs, lowest of lows. Went there, and the crew chief and I really never hit it off at all. And one of the reasons I found out why afterwards was that he didn't hire me. Ed hired me.
Gee.
Oh,
So
Yeah, when
I
that
was
happens.
doomed from the beginning.
Right.
Didn't even realize it, but I'll never forget this as long as I live. So after the race, next morning, wake up, and he calls me out by the swimming pool at the Holiday Inn there, and he goes, we're this just really ain't gonna work out, but
One
I
race.
really
One
race, yeah.
Wow.
The Gator National, one race.
He didn't give you a chance to screw up, did he?
Not even, no, not even.
Or prove
And I could
yourself.
have.
Or prove yourself. Yeah.
But the man, he was 27 years old at the time.
Okay.
And he said, look, this isn't going to work out, but I really appreciate what you did, and I know you tried. And he couldn't really throw his crew chief under the bus. And
Right.
I get it now
Right.
in hindsight, but he gave me a $100 bill, and he drove me to the airport. And I'll fast forward the story. So about 9 years after that, I am the Miller Brewing Company drag racing rep. And I go to Darlington, South Carolina for the very first time to meet the Miller High Life race team, which was Dale Poldy, Mike Hamby for one team,
Right.
and the Larry Minor team with who else driving? at the Ace McCullough, and it goes to show never burn a bridge.
Right.
Right.
And goes, and he and I are best of friends to this day.
Good.
Really?
Best of
So
friends.
you
Yeah, stay
said
on
like,
Facebook.
say that was that. This is now. And you,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yes.
Some
yeah.
people carry grudges like luggage, you know.
Yeah, but
No.
if you know that it wasn't that guy's fault, you know, I've been hired in that situation before too, where you get hired by a team owner, and all of a sudden you show up in the shop, and you know everybody's like,
Oh, yeah.
"What's this
Oh,
guy
yeah.
doing here?" You know what I mean? He's not one of us. You know what I mean? And it's kind of a tough deal.
It's tough,
you know.
but it shows that anybody, the thing that I've learned about automobile racing is you can never let anything get you down, because that's what the business is.
Right.
There's
Right.
only so many wins.
Yeah.
And you cherish them,
Right.
but there's a lot of losses.
Because you never know. Yeah, you never know when you're gonna. You know,
Exactly.
when you're not gonna get one again.
So you're with Miller Racing, and you're the rep for them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was very blessed. So after that, I came back to the Chicago area and got to work for Chapman Automotive on a car that was called the Chicago Patrol, which unbelievably was sponsored by the Chicago Police Department.
It's a
And,
drag car.
a funny car.
Funny
It's
car.
Still a funny
Perfect,
car.
good, yeah.
And got to work with two fabulous drivers there, Ron Colson, God rest his soul, and Pat Foster, God rest his soul. I mean, two of the most talented funny car racers in the business. After that, I got to I call it the proverbial Y in the road. You know, do I want to try to make myself a crew chief, a fabricator, whatever, and stay in the racing side, or do I want to go on the business side? And I chose the business side, and applied for a job. It was a Miller job that I went to New York to interview for it with a company called Robert Landau. They did not hire me. Thank God they didn't, because about 2 months later they went bankrupt.
Oh, okay.
And all the
Now, was this a marketing firm then, or?
it was Miller's agency.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And so and it was a bad deal. I mean, they were the owner of the company was taking the money from Burger King and from Miller and putting it into drugs and
Right.
offshore.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Was
So
it the 70s?
The 80s.
this was the 80s.
Right.
So we knew where that went.
So,
Studio 54. Where are you?
No, that's okay, whatever.
but so the person that
I know.
rescued that deal
You know what I did.
is Roger Penske. So
Oh.
they went to Miller Brewing Company, went to Roger Penske. He had a company called Motorsports International that Don Miller ran,
Don Miller, yeah.
and they said, "Can you take these marketing people and put them, into your company?" And he said, "Absolutely." And the
Because
rest
he
is
already had
history.
Miller as a sponsor.
And Miller had Miller as a sponsor on the IndyCar side, but they were doing all the show cars for Miller Brewing Company. So it just
Okay.
made natural sense to consolidate everything, to have the marketing people and the show car people all
All
housed
together,
out
yeah.
in one operation.
So where were you living for that? Did you have to live?
Well, I was in Illinois, so then I found that out. So that a friend of mine that when I worked for Sears in their Die Hard racing program early on, introduced me to Don. Said, "Wally's a great guy. I want you to take a look at him." Flew to St. Charles or St. Louis and got picked up by Don Miller. He hired me. He said, "The only thing I got right now is a show car job." I said, "Put me in, coach."
Really?
So I drove the Lowenbrow Porsche show car
Lowenbrow.
for
No, I just found it social.
for 4 months.
Yep.
And then went to the Las Vegas IndyCar race where a gentleman by the name of Sam Belnavis,
Yeah.
who remains a dear friend of mine, and he was the first African American sports marketing director for a major corporation. And we sat in his suite in Las Vegas, and he hired me on the spot for the drag
Jeez.
racing job that I tried to get in New York.
You had to go from New York to Vegas to get the job. Hey, whatever.
It was good.
Exactly.
It was worth the wait.
Yeah.
Nice. Denise Hall, how you doing? Congrats, your son Connor won again this weekend. Connor Hall, up and coming driver.
Oh, wow, way cool.
Yeah. All right, so you're part of the Miller Racing family.
Yep.
And somewhere you end up like with Roger under his
Well,
guidance,
the-
or Miller.
In this area.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the sports field, the first job was with Motorsports International, which was a Penske company. So that was my first introduction to the Penske organization.
Got it.
Then throughout the next 12 years, I was the sponsor rep for Motorsports and worked with the Penske team when they came online. You probably remember in 1990, Rusty was driving for Raymond Beetle.
Yes.
And we sponsored Beetle's team in 1990, and then they were building the shop in Mooresville under the guise of MW Racing.
Yeah.
And MR Racing. And so the shop at on Nob Hill Road was being built, and the 91 was the first year for Penske Racing, which is now Team Penske.
In the original Motorsports Park.
Original Lakeside Business
Business Park.
So you were the beer guy.
I was the beer guy. Yep.
Very popular, weren't you?
Oh, we were. Well, the cool thing was, we had the greatest sports marketing staff in Milwaukee that we worked with, and there was a number of us, and we all truly believed that we were able to get a PhD in sports marketing by the way that Miller handled our operation. You had to be creative, you had to follow up on things, but they gave you enough rope to hang yourself. And if you hung yourself, it's okay. They would untie it and pat you on the butt and put you back out there. Just don't ever make a mistake. Don't be afraid to make a mistake.
Yeah.
So were you involved with Miller in 85, 86?
I was.
Okay, so I'm working with Mark Martin and Bobby Allison
with the
Miller American ASA car.
ASA car,
Benny
Urtel, absolutely.
And even the ASA guys, we got 12 cases a week.
Oh yeah.
How much?
12 cases a week.
Did you? What
there was 4 guys on the team.
So what did you leave for the other guys? Here's the 12 packs, guys. Yeah, one guy.
From the walk. But at any rate, so I like to always tell people who are having our conversation. And maybe at one point in time our paths might have crossed, but who the heck
I'm
knows?
sure they did. Especially with Benny.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And Benny remains a great friend.
Oh, Benny. Benny, I love him to death. Benny was like my dad because I was a 19-year-old kid.
Sure.
And Benny to this day still, I talk to him. Whatever, we chat a little bit, but yeah, those days for me, that was my my introduction to the sport, and that's what turned me on to this whole deal. That's why I'm here.
Two pretty good guys to learn from, Mark Martin and Benny Urtel.
Well, you got Mark Martin, I had Jimmy Fenning, I had Benny Urtel, I had Bobby Allison, Jimmy's brother Jeffrey, who taught me so much about fabrication. It's ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Okay,
so Fenning, but Jimmy Fenning, another great guy.
Yeah, oh yeah, and obviously we're Wisconsinites,
absolutely,
and you're a Illinois guy.
Close enough.
I won't say,
What?
No, I understand. We're good.
You know what a fit is, right? Tell me.
No, but remember when Bobby won the 1988 Daytona 500?
Absolutely.
Jimmy Fenning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to work with Bobby Allison, and in those days when he was, the 80s.
I will tell you that from a kid who chased his dream, if anyone's listening out there, to just do that, because there's more stories than not. If you chase your dream, you will get it. You may not get exactly where you want. I've exceeded everything, and the drivers that I got to work with range from Al Holbert, Derek Bell, Chip Robinson, John Andretti, Ed McCullough, Gary Beck, Rusty Wallace, Bobby Allison. I can go on and on.
Probably Danny Sullivan.
Danny Sullivan.
Yeah,
Bobby Rahal.
Yeah.
You're sitting here with us.
Yeah.
The thing is, those guys.
I worked with Wally back in the day.
I drank with him a couple weeks ago.
Those people, I'm so blessed to call them friends like you two guys.
Yeah.
And that's what life's all about to me.
And I'll say the same thing real quick. I'll be quick. don't ever think you can't do anything you
absolutely.
want to do.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm a Boilermaker back home, and I'm like, I hate it, and I'm gonna move to Charlotte, and I'm gonna work on a race team.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, you're out of your mind,
Well,
and here I am.
There, that,
You
again,
know what I
proof
mean?
positive.
Right.
You did what you followed your dream.
And if you don't, I always say this too: if you don't, you're gonna regret it.
Well, same in Buffalo
And
when I
you
was
will.
going to college, and I said everything I was doing was NASCAR oriented, and then all the professors like, you need to find something else. You need to have a backup plan. I'm like, no, this is my plan. And then they're like, holy crap, I guess you went and did it.
Yep.
So anyhow,
It
you
is.
which is just follow your dream. It's okay. You can do it. So give us your favorite Bobby Allison story, because you were there in the '80s, leading up to the '88, 500, and then we know what happened at Pocono a few months later. But
Well, Bobby is everyone here knows. I mean, it's just such a wonderful man in so many ways. I would have to say that my favorite story about Bobby is certainly, when he won the '88 Daytona 500, beating his son. I mean, it just
Right.
it don't get any better
Yeah,
than
why
that.
don't
you-
It just doesn't. But off the track, in Darlington, we used to stay at a Quality Inn, and you guys probably remember Hank Jones.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Hank and Benny would be there, and they would have this little trailer that carried the Miller merchandise.
Yep.
But the beer distributor there, Schaefer Distributing, would host down at this little lake house a little get together all the time.
a little get together.
And we would go down there and we would drink Miller High Lifes, and Bobby would go fishing, and he'd had the time of his
favorite,
life, and it was just the coolest thing to see him
Right.
in that environment. And as as you're growing up, I mean, you can't be starstruck by any of these guys, and that's why you always get along with them, because you be yourself and they're themselves.
Yeah.
themselves.
And they know, they'll pick up on that
Oh, big
quickly.
time. Yeah.
And they'll also pick up if you're a fan.
True.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? And they don't like the,
But in one
most of
aspect,
them-
we're all kind of fans, but not to the point
You
where
are, but don't show it.
Hey, and then
You know.
1980 Daytona 500
Right.
on lap 40. Remember when you? And they're like, yeah, we're done here.
Right.
Bobby's favorite answer, all that, we certainly had some good times. That's all. That's his answer.
That's
Covers
his
it.
answer,
We
and
sure had
he's-
some good times
he's
back
got
then.
you, yeah.
We did
He's-
book signings, and I'm like, after the third one, I go, okay, I've got your 5 lines down. Standard. Which isn't a bad thing, but that's good.
But yeah,
all right.
that's,
So and then
good stuff.
you work. Then where did the? So you're still with Miller Brewing when the Rusty transition comes in.
So I'm with Miller Brewing Company right up through 1996, and Penske Racing. I really developed a great relationship working with Don, with Roger, with Walt Zarnicki, and the entire team. And we sat in Rusty's trailer actually in Dover, and they asked me if I wanted to hire on as their director of sales and marketing, and I said,
What was that like?
absolutely.
What was that like?
Put me in, coach.
Did you know it was coming? Did you know it was coming? Or
We talked. No, we talked about it. Actually,
okay.
they talked because as only Roger's the master when it comes to managing sponsorships, and he had already talked to the Miller Brewing Company people and got their blessing,
Okay.
so that they weren't stealing somebody. But if you think about it, Roger's very strategic too, because now
He
he's
is.
got an inside Miller guy
Yeah.
working for him who knows all the people in-house.
and how it runs.
Absolutely, and he's done that with a lot of people currently in his organization that are former people that can provide influence and relationships.
Yeah. Right.
And
It saves them money.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so in 90, end of '96, we moved here to Charlotte.
Okay.
And Roger kind of mapped out my life for me. He says, "Here's what we're going to do. You're going to do this, this, this. If you buy a house on the lake, you do this, this, this. You do
Buy a
this."
house on the lake.
Oh, okay.
Are you paying me enough?
Yeah, yeah, you got that?
96.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he told me, he goes, "Yeah, then Don will work out the deal with you." Oh, great. So you're not going to.
You're not going to do that.
But it worked out good. It worked out really good.
So what makes Roger Penske just so successful? What would it? Because it seems like everything he touches, everything he does. I don't want to say it turns to gold, but he doesn't go for second place. He goes to win.
I would say he would tell you this, people.
Okay.
He is the ultimate people person. Now the man is unbelievably intelligent in so many ways, and he's so logical. And when it comes to whether it's car designs or traffic patterns at a racetrack or how to run a business. I mean, he just knows. But he has surrounded himself with great people, and it goes from the top of his organization to every level. And
I'll agree with that. And he says that to this day at our luncheons and our kickoff meetings and stuff. He says it's all about my people,
Right.
and I'm just the guy that is going to put this together, and my people are going to make me look good. And
Well,
I mean, most of the people I say are great people there.
Right.
You know, obviously you're going to have some that, you know,
oh, sure.
but he's a great man to work for.
Well, and Warren, I'm sure you'll agree with me here that you would go and jump off a building for the man. I know I would, because he is so he's not egotistical.
No, not at all.
At all. I mean, he would not ask anybody to do anything he wouldn't do. And I have seen that man go in and traffic control at Michigan Speedway. He's out there directing traffic,
When he owned it, yeah.
tickets, you name it. I mean,
Right.
it's crazy.
So here's how smart and here's how people orientated he is. I worked for Penske Crenifis in 97, 98. And I left I think I left in 99, or I might have left it right in 98. And I didn't get back to Penske until 2018.
Okay.
And I seen him at Michigan, and he said, "It's good to see you back."
Isn't that crazy?
It's amazing. Every time I see him,
And I got goosebumps now. And I said, so Travis Geisler, I asked, does he say, yeah.
every time I see him, he comes in like I work for, and it's like he sees you, and I always look over my shoulder. He's
Yeah,
talking to me.
he
Yeah,
knows.
like he comes over, like whatever. Just a great guy.
He's very in tune to everything that's going
Great
on.
time. All right, so you're working there. You work with who are the drivers you work with there? During Penske. I'm trying. So Rusty.
It started out with Rusty. That was really the deal. It was a one-car operation with Rusty, and then it became a two-car operation, bringing on Ryan Newman, and that was a very interesting time in my career. Probably why I don't have any hair right
Why
now.
is that?
Well, you worked with
Why is
Mayfield
that?
too with us, right?
Well, then when Roger
Yeah,
bought
before
into-
Ryan. Yeah, because that's how I remember meeting you.
Okay. Yes, that's
You know,
correct.
when it went from, there was Penske, and then there was the 12, and then there was the 2, and then the 12.
12. Yep.
And then the 12 went from Mayfield for 3 years to Ryan, or 3 or 4 to
Right.
Ryan.
You're right. You're
So
absolutely
all
right.
your time with Rusty, what was he like back then? He was, you know, it was him and Earnhardt.
Oh, it went into some of the best times of my life.
Yeah.
And I would say that if I had to pick one year that was the most, I mean, it was exciting. It was the year of more ups and downs and emotions, was 1993 with Rusty. But that was back in the day when the drivers stayed at the motels. They didn't hide in their motor coaches.
Right.
You know, yeah.
They lived, and Rusty has always been this way, lived, ate, breathed, sleep, racing.
Yep.
He'd be in the shop during the week. He would work on the cars with the guys, fly to the race together, stay at a motel together, eat together, go to the racetrack. I mean, it was a unit, you know. And the kind of the joke was always, you know, we've
Dave Maneri and Jeffrey Thousands
all of them, yeah.
and Dave Kenny and
yeah,
Dave Little.
Well, and you had, and, you know, and then back, you know, the Buddy Parrott. That was the Buddy
Yeah,
Parrott
Buddy
days
Parrott.
with
Oh,
Buddy
yeah.
and Brad and Todd all on the team together, and it was a family,
Yeah.
literally and figuratively. It was a family.
So what was the joke you were saying? The joke was Rusty all the time.
Oh, he said, you know, we may not have won all the races, but we ain't never lost a party.
So
That was Rusty.
give us a good Rusty story you can tell.
Oh Lord!
Come on, one time that sticks
All
out.
right, so the one that I can tell, and I thought about this because I knew I'd be
You
put
knew
on.
you'd put on the
I knew it. So this happened in 1993.
Okay.
So we're at Talladega. Now you know what the infield was
Oh,
like
yeah.
at Talladega.
In
And it's-
93, yeah.
93, 03, 13, you know,
Yeah, full of motorhomes
Yeah.
everywhere. So
It was more than R-rated in '93.
oh Lord Almighty! But so this was actually the race that he got tapped on Sunday by Earnhardt when he flipped and broke his wrist.
Right.
But this is the Saturday practice, last practice. This is when this is when you change motors 48 times.
Years.
You guys,
Hey, guys, good job. Tongues are hanging out.
So it's last practice, and Rusty comes in, and he talks to Buddy and tells him what the car's like, and he just gets out and he's getting ready to out of his fire scene. He goes, man, you ain't gonna believe this. In turn 2, there is this motorhome, and it is Rusty Wallace #2 Miller Genuine Draft. It's just the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
I go, what are you doing looking at motorhomes when you're trying to
It's boring when you're
Yeah,
practicing.
and he goes, oh, I see everything. Okay, fine, gotcha. So anyway, so everybody's locking the truck up, and he goes, hey, come on, guys, let's get in the van, let's go see this guy.
What? Seriously?
Oh, yeah. I see what's going down here already.
Sure.
So off we go. So all the 2 vans, we're driving through, and we're in turn 2. Now remember, this thing's facing the racetrack.
The racetrack.
And we're in the infield side.
Yeah, trying to find it.
So we're trying to find it. So we're looking, and I mean, it is 25 minutes. Oh, I know it's right here. You can just imagine what he's saying. Oh, yeah, I know it's right there. Well, it's not right there.
Yeah.
We're there.
And that's how them drivers are. It was right here a minute ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we finally figure out. We get smart.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. He goes, let's walk the fence.
And then
That way we can see it.
On the outside.
very good, yeah.
Yeah.
So we walk down the fence. There it is. We go, wait a minute. We walk on the other side, and it's one of those split decisions. The side that's facing the racetrack is the Rusty Wallace side. The side that's facing the infield is the Dale Earnhardt side.
Wow. Could you put 2 more? So what happens when he walks in?
Right.
But we still,
We
had a beer with them all, had a great time. It was fun.
What did they do? What did they do when you walked up? I always like to know.
They just
They'd be like,
couldn't believe
holy-
themselves.
Yeah, even Earnhardt fans didn't care.
Yeah,
Because he
they-
wasn't there. It was Rusty was there.
It's fine.
Right?
Yeah.
But the coolest thing was that happened back then.
Yeah.
The
That-
drivers
Would go.
yeah. And that they're just this is no disrespect to any of the drivers. It's a different day, but I miss the days of
Sure.
the drivers being in the bars.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great for us from a beer company standpoint.
They're there.
Right.
Everyone with you.
My best guy was Dick Trickle.
Oh,
I mean, no
God.
one could sell beer better than Dick Trickle, man. I'm
And
telling you.
Or drink it.
Or drink it. I can always remember in Atlanta when he was subbing, and he was Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
We went into the first bar in Atlanta, and it was almost like, okay, I'm walking in. You always got to tell the drivers
Yeah.
what to do, and he goes like this. I got this. And we're kind of like, just get out of here. I shut up, kid. I got
Like, I've never been in a bar before.
I'm from Wisconsin.
Okay, Mr. Trickle.
Give me a red and set the table.
He just said, "All right, you are paying, right?" Yeah, I got you.
I imagine what your expense accounts were like. All right, so you work with Rusty, and then all of a sudden Newman comes into the.
Then Ryan comes on board. Yep, we in October 4th of 2000, we put him in the ARCA race at Charlotte.
He did the ABC.
And then it was the ABC season, which turned out to be really a
ARCA Busch Cup.
ARCA Busch Cup.
Glad you.
That was
Well, I just want
articulated
that's
that.
it.
Yeah. I mean, I knew exactly what it was.
Sure, right?
But
What's that?
some people
Yeah.
don't.
That's why I said always let the people know what we're talking about. And so his years. So then you're with his early years.
I was with him in his early years at Penske, and then was very fortunate to, I call it putting a cap on my Daytona 500s. Was there when he won his 2008,
Yep.
the 50th running of the Daytona 500. So I've got a win ring from 1988 with Bobby Allison, and I got one from 2008 for Ryan Newman, 20 years
Jeez,
apart.
That's right, but you got him.
I got him.
Yes.
Perfect.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So what was he like in those beginning years? Because he was learning.
Well-
Was he as hard headed? I'm saying this because I've worked
Sure.
with him. Worked with him at RCR.
Hard-headed.
What? Ryan Newman?
He's an engineer.
I know he's an engineer. Oh, he's an engineer. Sorry, he's very focused. How's that? Because hard headed, I guess, is not right. Focused. Was he like that then, or was he just? Did that just come with time and experience on him?
Ryan was very reserved in the beginning.
Yeah.
But very, very articulate and extreme,
Right.
and you could tell he was extremely smart.
Yes.
Right. Ryan's smart enough that he can't get bullshitted by a crew chief.
Oh.
That's how I put it.
No, he's,
That's why he's.
You're right.
That's why
Absolutely.
he's on the radio, and when in you're not going to bullshit him. He knows what's going on.
and
You know
he'll
that.
sarcastically tell you.
And they had a great team there that was put together with Matt Borland and Mike
Yes.
Nelson.
Oh, jeez, those names.
Oh, I mean, it's an unbelievable crew, and they were tight like Rusty's guys were in '93.
Right.
But the interesting thing was, it was diametrically opposed. You had the engineers, and you had the old school racer in Rusty, and that did not make for a great situation.
Right.
It was
Yeah,
not. It was not.
There was friction there.
Yeah.
There was, the chemistry was not there.
There's always
between the
friction
teams,
there, yeah.
you know. But it's okay. I mean, it's, I wouldn't trade those times for anything in the world. And Ryan was, Ryan was always going to be Ryan, and I've always admired that about him. When he first he bought a little house on the lake up in Sherrills Ford, and we went there, and I had the first Christmas present I gave him something which I thought was kind of cool, and that was this framed poster of the Charlotte paper when they won their first pole.
Okay.
Oh, yep.
But I also gave him an iron because he would wear jeans that were really wrinkled. And I said, if you're going to work for Mr. Penske,
You're gonna
at least
have
have iron jeans.
Oh yeah. Oh
That
yeah.
didn't go over too good. It
Well,
did
hey,
not.
you gotta play both
He
sides.
didn't see my sense of humor.
And Ryan,
Take him to the dry cleaner then.
Ryan is a
If that ain't funny, take him to the dry
Yeah,
cleaner.
you're making good dough now. All right, so then Kurt Busch comes in the picture. Right, so Rusty, steps out, and I'll never forget. It was the banquet, Waldorf. We're at a party, and Rusty was out, and Kurt was coming in, and we're at the. I don't know. I couldn't like Sprint. Was it Sprint at the time? Next time we were
It
put
was
the party on
2005, so it was, I think it was first year
Sprint. Okay, next time Sprint.
Okay.
And we're at this party, and all of a sudden, Kurt comes over with this big bucket of beer. Rusty was there, this big bucket of beer. And whatever was on the thing, he pushed everything off the table. And he puts it down. And he goes, "Here you go. This is my parting gift to you." And Rusty would make some comment like, "Oh, really? Thanks a lot." He goes, "Like you paid for it." He goes, "That's not the point. My point is, it was cool because Kurt was appreciating the fact
Sure.
that
he was getting his ride.
getting that what was going on with the whole thing." So then Kurt comes in and he does.
Everything you want to do on the radio, and
Except-
the owner doesn't want to hear.
Was he wild? Was it just still when he was figuring things out days?
Kurt was an extremely interesting individual, and I love. He's the greatest guy to go have a beer with.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm not kidding you.
Yeah,
I
I've
mean,
caught him in
and-
Mooresville a couple
I
times.
hear that all the time too.
Yeah.
And on top of it, I went on a tour with him to all the sponsors, and we took him, and you talk about a guy that did his homework. I mean, on whether it's Mead Paper, Miller Brewing Company, you name it, Lennox, he nailed it
Really?
every time.
That's good.
Flip side is and his ex-wife Eva said this, so I'm just quoting her.
Sure.
When he put on his helmet, it cut off the blood supply to his head.
And you could say that about pretty much 90% of the drivers. right?
The bus drivers, anyways.
Yeah.
And he was just a
lot of-
oh my God, you had to, women and children could have, you had to plug their ears. And,
There was parents in the stands.
Nothing to report here. Did you hear that one this weekend?
What?
They asked Kyle, "How's your car?" Nothing to report here.
Okay,
No, it's really bad. He's not even swearing.
I'll tell you what, sitting in the stands, because it's been many years since I sat in the stands, every time Kyle Busch got passed, everyone cheered. I'm like, good guy. And Gerald was sitting there, and she's like, so they introduced Joey Logano, a lot of people booed. She goes, they booed Joey? I said, oh, there's a story there.
Yeah.
And then, so anyhow, it was just a funny observation.
Well, on the TV, because I know you get to see it, but I'm watching it, and he's terrible. He wasn't bad at the beginning of the race, and the car just keeps getting
Yeah,
worse.
worse, yeah.
And all of a sudden they go, how's your car? Nothing to report here. And we got the word this morning, me and the guys were talking, he's like, God, he must have really been pissed off. He wouldn't even cuss.
I was so mad I didn't swear. All right, so that was good about him, but so you saw there was a lot of good that he had.
Oh,
He was bad, but when he was bad, it was just, you felt for him because it was like, oh my gosh, was there nobody
Yeah,
there?
what are you
like,
doing? Yeah, why are you
doing?
throwing up,
When
you know?
Because there's
Because the
50
kid's
guys
so
that went to-
talented, too.
So talented.
unbelievable
Still.
talent.
Yeah.
Unbelievable
Yeah.
talent. But it's kind of cool to see him today.
Yep.
as he's matured.
Oh yeah, he's fixed it. He fixed it.
He has.
Yes.
He realizes, yeah.
And he's again, great person, and it's just. But these are the stories of automobile racing. You
Right.
can't change them.
No.
You know, the Mark Donahues, they had personality. AJ Foyt, this is he's his own unique personality. Every one of these guys do something that I know I can't do.
Right.
And I admire every one of them, and you really can't say too much about what
Right. What they want to say on the radio.
Yep.
And, so with my little bit of driving that I've done,
Huh?
your adrenaline is so high
Mhm.
that and you sometimes you're saying stuff that, and I won't say that you don't mean, but you're over exaggerating things that creates, I remember my dad was my crew chief, and I got out of my car and said, man, I'm sorry, Dad. I'm an asshole.
You already knew that before you got out of the car.
But he would be like, all right, I get it.
So,
Just,
your time with Penske, you're there till what year?
96 through 2008.
Wow.
April
That's a good run.
2008. So
It was a
about-
good run. That's
about
a pretty
12
damn
years.
good run.
Yeah, and that's when, in 2005, as you remember, the new shop was built, and I was very blessed to have that opportunity to be part of that and learn from Roger on how you build a building. So that was really a lot of fun. And then the IndyCar team came in. We had the IndyCar team, we had the Porsche team, had the stock car teams, and it was the coolest place ever to work. But then, as all things do, good things come to an end.
Right.
That's when Don Miller was on his way out, and Don was kind of my mentor.
Right.
And it was just time to to move on.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and it was good. And I remained friends with Roger. I remained friends with Walt Zarnicki,
Good.
Tim Cindric, and
Good.
a lot of the guys there.
Because you never know. And they go, hey, well, we were thinking
I
about
still just
Side work
think
for
with
them.
them.
That's
right.
Absolutely.
Good.
It's great. It's great stuff.
So what is it you're doing now? Because I know you're still heavily involved in the sport. And,
Yeah.
I didn't know about the whole crew guy drag racing. I learned that tonight from you. Just so you
Yeah.
know. I didn't know that.
We didn't know you were hands-on.
I didn't know
Oh, yeah,
you were
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
good.
see, you guys couldn't bullshit me all the time.
that sounds good to me, man. How about that, cheers? All right, so you're still on the marketing side.
So in 2008, took about a month off, and then I'd started my own company, consulting firm, and
Called?
Wally McCarty and Associates.
There
What
you
a
go.
creative name!
Great.
Oh my God, I'm telling you.
That's good.
It's
Always put your own name
it's
on.
all
Oh, I
good.
know, Wally.
Yeah,
It's good. Yeah.
It's all good.
Don't be too clever. Yeah.
But I have got clients right now. FDP Friction Science, which is a brake manufacturer out of Pennsylvania. We hold the license for Goodyear brakes, and it's something that we are currently launching on Amazon.
Very good.
So that's been an exciting project to work with. Continuing to do some other just off racing kind of things, building out a business plan for a mineral-based effervescent drink. Never thought I'd be doing that, but
That's all right.
I am.
It is.
And then also,
Does it contain alcohol? We'll take it.
no alcohol. It's supposed to make you
Oh, well.
strong like bull.
I mean, High Life.
Send us an email.
With a name like High Life, I mean,
Send us an email.
a lot of effervescence in this.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. All right, so you're building this
And then continue to do some work in racing. I never will ever get out of the racing
I know the
business.
feeling. Yeah. We both do. Yeah.
So it's been fun. I mean, helping some young upstart drivers, which has really been fun, and then also looking at some sponsorship deals for some teams. And I try to keep all that stuff under the radar screen because in today's world, less is more. The less people know about what you're doing,
That's right.
the better off you are.
It's a very dog eat dog
Oh my God.
business.
I'm not very good at that because everything I do is like, hey, everybody, check this podcast out, watch this show. Yeah, but that's all right. What you're doing, that's good.
But in the middle of all that, I mean, I was very blessed. One of my clients was the North Carolina Motorsports Foundation. So we did some interesting work there with the license plate program that NASCAR had. They had the North Carolina license plates
right.
that had the NASCAR theme.
Yeah.
We tried to build out some marketing programs for them around teen driving, and then had about a 3-year stint with NASCAR production. So I got to work a little bit with the league on the video side, and that was a lot of fun. And to be able to have a career that spanned not only
It's pretty impressive.
the sponsorship side, the team side, and then the league side, and
With some legends too, and champions, and Hall of Famers.
that's the thing.
No regrets, right?
No.
None. Oh, absolutely not.
Perfect.
No regrets whatsoever.
Perfect. That's the way to roll.
I am so blessed, and again, it's the people you meet, not just the drivers, and it's people in the C-suite, the CEOs, the CMOs that you can talk to. It's the crew guys too.
Sure.
I mean, you love everybody at every level of this sport. That's what it's about. I have more fun walking through the garage here and just saying hi to people.
Yep.
I mean, it's what it makes.
Well, I'll say it like this. So, after I left Penske and while I was still there, and I would walk through with my DI stuff, and I'd see we always said hi.
Sure.
There was always a hi.
Sure.
It was always a hey, how you doing?
Good. Perfect.
Absolutely. No, that's what it's really all about. To me, is just the people. It is, and I guess I learned that from Mr. Penske.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're at the top of the hour. Thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, thank you.
This has been an absolute honor, and I mean that sincerely.
Well,
Everything you've done in the sport, the people you've worked with, the experience you've had, from the drag racing to the Miller. I mean, you were the beer guy for Miller. I mean, that's
right.
For a long
12
time.
cases a week.
Oh, the team's got 50.
I mean, up here, I'll say it's A guys. We did get tin cans.
I only brought one tonight.
We got them 32-ounce tin cans, and oh, geez.
But
I only had 2, officer.
All right, I'm good.
But it's been an honor to have you on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And you were one of the early supporters of the show. And you shared a lot of your insight. And I listened to a lot. I used some of it, but that meant a lot to me personally. I've known you for a long time. We never worked together. But we've always, every time we run each other, we talk. And I can still text you on a afternoon and say beer, and you respond back, yes.
Absolutely.
Pick a place, and that's how it is.
That's simple.
Cheers to you, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wally McCarty.
I never get that text. I'm probably working.
Oh my God, you were, but you're off early now. You're ours. Thank you, everybody. Carry your nerds, I guess, next week. Wally McCarty and Coke. Wally McCarty. Have a good week. We'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.
Say goodnight, Dick.
Good night, Dick. Oh, we did it. Good night, Dick. We got it. Wow. Hey, another great show. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. We do this every Tuesday night, and Warren, I think the guests we've had have been fantastic.
Phenomenal.
And the people that are following us, we appreciate it. We're reaching 42,000 people a month. Can you believe that? And we appreciate you watching. And
we're having fun. Hope everybody else enjoys it.
That's it. And it's just a fun show. Bucket of beer. Guys sitting around talking about it. So keep tuning in. We appreciate it. Check out our store and everything. But we appreciate you people, and we will see you next week. Right, my friend?
Yes, sir.
All right. See you next week.